for tuning in to the second installment of the Loveth podcast. I am Shan. Last month I said I was going to get back out here and start back recording, and it is much more comfortable for me to just do my audio and upload it to just like an audio platform or whatever. But I am going to keep pressing through to show up in front of the camera so I can get comfortable, just so I can get comfortable presenting this way. I do not have stage fright. I am not shy by any means, but I have a very intimate personality. I connect with people on an intimate level, face to face. So to be out broad in front of people, and because look, I'm gonna take one sis Erica Badu words, like I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my, so you put yourself out here on these public platforms and you have to just really have a strong spirit to know that you may be criticized or judged or critiqued. And I guess this is a season about pressing through all of that. It's like adult peer pressure is real. You think you have overcome hearing what people think and all these different things, but the reality is that it's not true. In this new virtual world where everybody is putting their so-called best out there, that you don't see a lot of the background stuff, it's a lot for you to like just mentally process in place and just really fight to not compare yourself and critique yourself because others may be critiquing you. So anywho, that is a reason why I'm just going to reconnect to Soul Loveth, because reconnecting to what the meaning of Soul Loveth is, it helps you eliminate some of that noise. It helps you stay focused. It eliminates a lot of the distractions. And that's why I'm coming in with this second installment. So again, the last installment, I was just talking about me taking accountability and stepping back out here. And I said that I was going to just dig a little deeper about what inspired the name Soul Loveth. I mean, just anything soulful just make you feel colorful and cozy and artsy, but I cannot take any credit for that title. The title actually came, so first of all, this installment is going to be called Love Is A Motivator. All right. So y'all follow me. This was inspired by a love song or poem in Songs of Songs or Songs of Solomon, if anybody's familiar with that biblical story of Solomon and the young Shulamite woman, which was a young African maiden that he fell in love with. So even though I'm going to be talking about this love affair, yes, I'm going to be talking about this love affair. And yeah, I say a Bible because sometimes you say Bible and people get all stoic. I'm going to tell y'all that this story, it is a very short story, and it's probably short for a reason because it is full of vulnerability, sensuality. Yes, sensuality in the Bible, sexuality, passion, all of the things that a lot of times the church don't like to highlight, almost making you feel bad for having those feelings. In this story, it's real free, it got a little spicy in there. So anyway, this story has stuck with me for some years, and I always thought the story was just this love affair between this young maiden and this king. But I got a different revelation of that. Over the years, as I kept dissecting it and I kept going back, so why am I connected to this story? And sometimes that story, it doesn't even make no sense because they are love drunk with each other. And it's like, okay, some seasons I'm not there, maybe I'm not in a relationship or I'm not connected to somebody, but I'm always driven back to this story. And so just my interpretation is I don't take the story literally. I take it figuratively. At first, I was thinking it was like a eros love, a love between a man and a woman. And as I started digging a little deeper, it's more like an agape love, like a God kind of love. The love affair between you and God, and just like loving yourself radically, finding out things about you that make you tick, that make you cry, that make you feel alive. And it's like, I've gravitated to that over the years, right? Okay, so let me tell y'all a little bit about the story. So it was a young Shulamite. I believe I'm saying it right. Shulamite woman. And again, they don't talk about this Black presence in the Bible. She was a young African maiden, really dark in complexion. And she was very insecure about her social status at that time. When reading those stories, you literally have to just consider the signs of the time, but you can relate it to current, you know? But anyway, she was a field worker, meaning that she did hard labor. And by her being a field worker, she was out in the sun a lot. So even though she was dark, the sun made her even darker. So in this story, she says something like, I'm Black, but comely, meaning like she's making excuses for her appearance, because socially her appearance and her economic status wasn't, it was like, maybe, I hate to say, like maybe lower class. I mean, doesn't that sound familiar to a lot of classism that we have right now with racism, even classism amongst ourselves, amongst African American, just social status, where people rank you based on your income, your education, who you know, all of these things, how society kind of like programs everybody and puts them in a box. So even though this was an ancient story, we can apply it today. So anyway, she was like very insecure about her status, her appearance, her hair, all these things. But she had some sister friends, the maidens. Her maidens, they were like, girl, you're beautiful. You're smart. You're this, that. It's like they kept boosting her up. Like, even though she had this low self-esteem or this low look upon herself, she had friends that saw all of this character and personality and beauty in her, but she was so much in her mind. Do that sound familiar? She was so much in her mind critiquing herself that she didn't see all of her attributes because they didn't measure up to what society considered acceptable. That sound familiar? So anyway, this is why I'm like connecting to a lot of stories. A lot of my research led back to this young Shulamite woman, gave her a name. Like, what is her name? Her name was Makita. And it's even a song by Les Nubians from like the 90s. I can't sing, but it's Makita, you know, it's like, Makita. Don't laugh at my my improv, because I can't play it on YouTube because they may shut my video down. Even though I'm streaming through Apple and Spotify with copyright infringement, all that good stuff, I can't play the song. But yeah, if you remember Makita from Les Nubians from back in the 90s, the whole song was written in French. So you didn't know what the song was saying. You were just grooving to the song. But when I went and researched it and dissected, they were talking about this story, you know? So anyway, in that song, they were talking about King Solomon fell in love with this basically common woman. I hate to say common because that reduces who she is, but based on social status and based on what he was familiar and used to. He's from the palace. He's the king. He has all types of maidens and, you know, supermodels. I'll bring you the current supermodels and Instagram influencers. I'm not going to shame anybody, but y'all pick up what I'm putting down. He had all of that type of access, but he gravitated to this woman who had never been exposed to that type of royalty or glamour. She was a hard worker. She got her hands dirty. She was cultured. She experienced life. She was used to the tough life, the hard life, because she was a part of that life. You know what I mean? So, but because of that, it made her different. You know, she saw the world different. She moved different. She wasn't passive. She was grounded. She was earthy. It was just something mysterious about her that drew this king to her. Now, this is not about a man validating who you are. I just really want to give you the whole picture of the story. So anyway, the Les Nubian song that I was talking about, they were talking about Solomon and Makita. That's what the song title is called, Makita. But anywho, I related so much to Makita because it's like she was on a road of self-discovery, you know, through all of those insecurities and all of these thoughts that she had to fight through, it was something deeper in her telling her that she had substance, that she was worthy, that she had something to offer of value. But again, she couldn't see it because she, you know, she had to work. She was independent. Things weren't handed to her. So she didn't have time to really sit in and contemplate her gifts and her talents. No, she just did the work. Like, I mean, I love it because it's like I can relate so much. It's like sometimes I'm like, okay, but how do you do that? I mean, I don't understand it. Not realizing that some things I do natural and I make it look easy, that it may look like a big deal to somebody else, but it's like I'm too focused on doing the work, taking care of my family. I don't have time to like boast up what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like I don't have it in me to market myself. It's like I'm just being myself. But with this new age of technology, it's almost like you have to put yourself out there. So anyway, that's, again, it seems like I'm maybe all over the place, but I'm really tying this into what inspires soul of it. So back to Makita. And again, she's like my spirit animal sister. So I relate to her on just so many levels. But anyway, so she's going through this road of self-discovery. And along this road, she meets him. And she's experienced. She's experienced other lovers and other situations and other circumstances. But when she met this person, everything that she hated about herself, he highlighted her beauty, her glory, without making her feel shame. Like, just being around this person just energized her. She seen the experience she had with him, this secret and sacred love affair, like them meeting in the meadows, and how he I mean, I won't get too graphic, even though it's Bible and maybe PG-13. Solomon and Makita was getting hot and heated. They were getting hot and heated. So anyway, just that passionate love affair that they had, it woke up something in her. You know what I mean? She's like, it lifted a standard. So anything that she experienced before, that it has erased. Like, that's childish. Like, she was maturing. So it's like Makita, this story is like this woman going through different stages of initiation into womanhood. She was literally discovering different seasons and different facets of herself through this experience with this person, right? So this is the kicker for me. So she has a dream in this song, like it's a song, a poem, or whatever, but in this whole reading, she has a dream, and she kind of like wakes up in a panic because she didn't experience her lover. So she wakes up in this dream and she can't find him. And she's like, wait a minute, like something is missing. Like, so she jumps up. She's a country girl. She's not used to the world. So she steps out. She steps out in the dream and she runs into the city lands where she's not used to that. But this feeling or this energy that she has between her and her lover, she needs some more of that. So she is willing to step out on faith, get out of her comfort zone, and she's going to do it afraid. So she's going and she's running through, and now these watchmen, all these watchmen are coming in front of her. Hey, stop, where are you going? And she's like, wait a minute, get out of the way. You're not that. So that's funny too, because to me, the watchman represents distractions. She now knows what she's looking for. She is going to do it afraid. She's going to ignore all of this negative self-talk, all of this pausing that's keeping her from stepping out, because she has experienced this energy, this abundance, this part of her that she didn't even know existed. It's almost like something had rebirthed in her. Those distractions, now you're not it. You look like it, you're presenting yourself, but now you're not it. It's like now her palette for what she wants is becoming more mature. Like, I'll pause it right there too. I got to pause it and remember where I'm at, because I can just pull from this story. So when you don't really know what you want, you try a lot of things. You make some mistakes. You make some let me look in y'all. You make some stupid mistakes. I seen somebody put on Facebook that God has even factored your stupidity into your destiny because he know you might do something stupid. Forgive yourself, okay? So anyway, let me go back. So when you have experienced some things and some things have like hurt you or made you lose something or made you feel maybe even like less than, like that's dumb. You know you shouldn't be over there, or you shouldn't be doing that. When you have experienced that, so somebody can tell you don't do this or don't do that or whatever. But sometimes you want what you want. Or sometimes you want what you want out of boredom. Sometimes you want what you want out of confusion. Sometimes you just want what you want. And that's not always good to just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want. Yeah, you're grown, but is that beneficial to you? So that's why when in telling this story about doing what your soul loves and doing what you're passionate about, people say the word passionate. It doesn't mean reckless abandonment. Like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. But how does that benefit you? You can do what you want to do. You can talk yourself out of the stupid. You can, after you do whatever you want to do, you still got to look at yourself in the mirror the next day. I'd rather do something focused on my vision than to try to be healing myself for every little stupid thing that I do. So it's like, after you experience some things, it's like your palate is like, come on, sis. Like, you can't keep doing it this way because this way is slowing you down. Like, we're trying to get to the next space. And if you keep repeating this cycle, then you can do what you want to do. And you're still loved by God. You know, the Bible says, even if you make your bed in hell, God is with you. But that don't mean you want to make no bed in hell. Keep making your bed in hell. You know what I mean? So this is not to judge your choices. This is to mentor you into more substantial choices, you know? So that's what Makita, like, because she had experienced this different standard, none of the things that used to distract her, it's like Neo in the Matrix. Once he found out who he was, hey, I got on the right shirt. I got on the right shirt for that. Like, once if everybody know the Matrix, once he found out who he was and that enemy started coming hard, the enemy came with everything he had, Neo was able to fight that thing off with like one hand, like, move, get out the way. I got something to do. You know, I don't have time for that. I got something to do. So anyway, that was Makita moving the Watchmen out of the way. Like, no, move, get out of the way, get out of the way. And so she finally reconnected with her lover, you know, and again, figuratively, your lover could be the new venture you want to step out on. Your lover could be your gifts and your talents, the art that you connect to. It may be your travel. You may travel solo. We're going to have an episode about solo traveling and just doing a lot of things by yourself. We're going to talk about all those type of things later. But just she reconnected to that thing that brought her life. And again, I'm saying that because I don't want you to put the story on a person bringing fulfillment in you. Because, like, no, figuratively, this was about her going through all this stuff to radically discover love within herself. She had to learn how to radically love herself. And to radically love yourself is not easy. To radically have peace is not easy. It is literally something you have to fight for because there's so many watchmen, distractions getting in the way, right? So after she moved that out of the way, because now she like, she run different. You know, she runs with a different swagger. She's not all over the place, right? She finally gets to him and she looked at him. And this is my favorite part. She says, it was by little that I passed by them. Yet I found the one whom my soul loveth. It's like, she looked at him and she like, you need to know. It was by little. Like, I had a lot of choices. I had a lot of options. It was by little that I passed by them. Like, it was so many things in my space. Yes, I moved all that out of the way because I found the one, or I found the thing whom my soul loveth. So yeah, y'all, that is all Bible. I know people be running from the Bible because you ain't ready for yourself. That's why you be judging it. It's some life lessons in there. Yeah, you have to chew up the meat and spit out the bones, even in the Bible, because it is man written, but it is God inspired. You know, that's why so much controversy around it. You know what I mean? Like it's so much hidden, encrypted messaging there. So yeah, you should study to show yourself approved. The Bible even says that. Like, go in that Bible and you go and you read it and you pray for understanding. Like, we like to say affirmations and all this, a lot of like new age stuff. And again, I'm not judging anybody's practices. I'm not judging it, because I'm still speaking life when I'm speaking something that applies to my life, you know? So again, I'm saying that this is not me pushing the Bible down your throat. I'm saying that it is some meat in there. It is a guideline to help you get through life. That's why it has kept so many people in bondage for all of these years, because that's how potent that messaging is in there. But you go in there and it can open your mind. It can lift the shackles and it can be freeing. And this particular story was so freeing to me, you know, even in Bible, you know what I mean? It's just like foundation, my church, the foundation is like, that's how I walk. That's how I live my life. And to go in and to see like, okay, it's talk about soul things, but it's like, God wants your soul to prosper. Yes, your spirit first, your mind, not to just be led recklessly, just doing things that just keep you broke and heartbroken and all these other things. Like, God wants your soul to prosper. It is okay for you to enjoy the things that's given to us on this earth. Like, life is so fragile these days. Like, we've all just experienced a collective grief. And for us to be back out here, what I think I heard Trevor Noah say that, because he's leaving the Daily Show, if anybody's familiar with him. He was just saying, people were like, why are you leaving? And he was like, because I want to. It's like, I've done that, and I have been doing that for a while. But after experiencing what we experienced, I can't approach life the same way that I approached it pre-COVID. And that's how I am right now. It's like, with as much as I've been through, or we all been through, but I'm going to talk about myself right now. As much as I went through during the pandemic, I can't go back to what I was doing before. I can't have the same conversations. Things are more trivial to me now. Like, what's essential to me? What makes me feel alive? Because I'm not easy to be entertained these days. You know, some days it's hard to laugh at things that I don't want to just laugh at stupid stuff to just numb my brain, because I made it on the other side of all that crap. It must be something I'm supposed to be doing in this world. So let me gravitate to those things. And I say that those are my prayers I say out loud. And every day is not a great day, you know? Every day is not a great day. Some days I am high on life. Some days I'm kind of low. And it's like, I'm always trying to strike a balance, just find like an equilibrium. And I can do that by eliminating things that, I mean, we keep saying the same words, but that disturbs my peace, you know? And it can be the simplest thing. I mean, I'm not saying even eliminate relationships and friendships, but maybe even like giving some breathing space. Like, when you're going through some things, like giving things or people or places breathing space, so that when you come back together, you can appreciate those things, people, and places, you know? And it still ties back into what you're gravitating to naturally. If you're gravitating to something that has you imbalanced, that's like, you need to slow down and kind of like check out what's going on. So Loveth, even though I say love, we all know that love is not easy, you know? Love, it takes some work. You know, it takes some inner work. It takes facing some heavy things about yourself. Again, like Makita, she went through a road, she was on a road to self-discovery. And sometimes that road was bumpy, you know? Sometimes that road was smooth. Sometimes that road had fun hills and valleys. And then, you know, sometimes that road was just still. And it's like learning how to find your footing at each post of the journey, right? All right. So I am going to, again, I'm going to just see what this evolves to, and I'll keep having a conversation, and more so even having a conversation for myself. This is therapeutic to kind of get out some thoughts, and not just to my personal clients that sit in my chair, because I have these conversations all the time. I'm just going to get more consistent with having them on a still intimate, but a public platform. And hopefully you can get something out of it. So as I continue to walk out the answers, like, hold on, I got it. I'm still figuring out all of my my audio stuff. So I got to put my little music back in that my son produced for me, by the way. So YouTube wouldn't cut my copywriting stuff out. But my son produced this, my intro and my outro, and I'm gonna figure out all this technology stuff to go along with it. But until I do, you're with me at the beginning. So anyway, as I continue to walk out the answers of what I gravitate to naturally, just figuring out what I gravitate to naturally and what my soul loveth. Hopefully you gather something from it as well. You take down some notes. You start paying attention to your surroundings. You start paying attention to what gives you peace without a lot of noise. And then you pay attention to kind of like what gets you going. And for me, it was this beautiful love story between Makita, herself, God, and eventually her lover.